Previously on Surviving DayZ, Olev got attacked by a zombie and almost bled to death. Found some nice loot in a shed. Found some more nice loot in an abandoned train station. Killed a zombie in self-defense and began his trek north to Petrovka. Okay, so we are back and Olev's hangover shows no signs of receding. He is feeling worse than ever. But we must make the push forward to Petrovka, to his home, to have that fry up. He's just envisioning those delicious sausages doused in ketchup as he crawls through the Chernarus mud. Okay, so we've kind of lost our bearings, but we know that the ocean is directly behind us, so we must be heading in vaguely the right direction. The good thing is that zombies only spawn around buildings and loot, so out here in the wilderness we're pretty much safe from zombies, but of course being out in the open there's always the risk of being spotted by a player or a group of players and unceremoniously shot in the head. But we decide to risk it because it doesn't look like there's anyone in the area. Electro is behind us, a favourite haunt of bandits, but we're pushing on north. On the way through the forest we spot a barn. Now barns always have about four loot drops, and it's always decent. A lot of times you'll find a shotgun in there. Even though a shotgun is loud and unwieldy, it is useful, and it will be a nice backup to a Makarov. So even though it's halting our progress a little bit, we're going to head into the barn. It's worth the risk. Now there aren't any zombies in the vicinity, so we decided to risk it with a bit of a crouch walk. Luckily the zombies that have spawned seem to be walking away from the entrance. Of course there's always the chance that a bottom might just have piles of empty tin cans in it, which seems to be Olev's luck whenever he finds a loot stash. Piles of junk. Although he did find a pistol quite early on, so perhaps he will be lucky again. Crawl under the fence, or roll under the fence even, instead of vaulting it, because if we stood up now, that zombie would probably see us. In the distance there you can see a power plant on the right of the screen, which is just outside Electro. There's probably some good stuff there, but it's a little bit out of the way, so we're just going to stick with this barn for now. Also, zombies have a tendency to spawn inside buildings. Not sure if that's been fixed in recent patches or changed rather than fixed, because it might be a game feature. But we have been to this barn before and there's been like 4 zombies standing in it, so we're lucky this time there's nothing. The loot always falls in the same spot, always behind these boxes, and up on the rafters there as well. What have we got? Okay, we got some flares, bandage. That is amazing news because we used our only bandage up in the last episode when that zombie whacked us with his diseased hands. Bit of trouble getting up the stairs there. His hangover is making him delirious. Another bandage. Excellent. We're just going to leave the flares. They take up inventory space and we're not going to be playing at night. Some firewood down there, and there's a hatchet. We're not going to take the firewood because temperature's not really a problem, plus it just attracts zombies and other players, so it's not really worth it. We consider taking the hatchet, but we've already got the Makarov, so we're going to risk not taking a melee weapon. Okay, nothing back there. Sometimes you'll get a spawn there, but not this time it appears. Last check for loot. Pile of empty cans. Useless. Another hatchet. Might as well take it. Might as well. It could save our lives if we run out of ammo and we get cornered. We can pull it out of our tool belt and use it as a melee weapon. Albeit an extremely clumsy and dangerous melee weapon. But it is quiet, so it won't attract. If we manage to take out one zombie with it, it won't attract any others when we kill him. Providing we do it out of their line of sight, of course. So we creep out of the barn. That wasn't an amazing haul, especially compared to some other loot drops I've had in those barns, but wasn't bad. Not bad. And very few zombies seem to have spawned around here. We've got one there, but he's just doddering off in the opposite direction, so be fine. Probably alright to get up now because we're far enough away and the trees will block his line of sight as well. Just checking behind us. That's one of the best things about ARMA, is that while you're moving you can still twist your head around to look behind you, which is especially useful in third person view. Also, you might notice there's a slightly stretched field of view here. If you double tap the minus key on the number pad, you'll get a really nice wide field of view, which is very useful for keeping track of your surroundings. Some people prefer playing on servers with no third person view, but I think the game is better with it and just more enjoyable, because when you're locked in first person it may be more hardcore, but it's just kind of harder to keep track of your surroundings and what, you know, what may be creeping up on you or maybe behind a tree. So we're pushing north into this densely wooded area, and hopefully we might run across a settlement or something where we can pick up some more supplies. We're pretty tooled up now. We've got bandages, we've got some Makarov clips, we've got a gun, and we got some soda. So, but it is always worth just keeping stocked up. We might find a bigger backpack or something. An Alice pack would be nice. This Coyote pack is just too small, really. Especially if we come across a cache of nice loot and we'll have nowhere to put it. Our temperature seems to be fine at the moment, but we're getting thirsty and we're getting hungry. But we're gonna just keep going and stave that off for a little while. It's only when it goes bright red that we have to worry about starving to death, because of course, like in real life, if you get really thirsty in DayZ, you bleed to death. Accurate simulation of real physical effects of thirst, of course. Highly realistic game. Okay, this forest seems pretty barren. Haven't even come across any deer stands, which are these little wooden hunting platforms you find in the wilderness. Usually get a couple of zombies spawning around them, but they usually have weapons. Shotgun shells and shotguns Winchester. I found on one of them once. But yeah, it's pretty empty. In the distance there we can see a road sort of snaking off up the hills. If our bearings are correct, that's actually heading east, so as tempting as that looks, because there's probably some nice city or towns along that, we're gonna have to ignore it. Keep heading north. It's quite foggy at the moment as well, but I don't think we're at risk from any other players at the moment. There's about 30 people on this server at the moment. We decided to keep the debug monitor off. As part of the new update, by default it's off, and all you can see are the needs meters and the sight and sound meters. It just feels more immersive without the debug monitor on, because that's just a constant reminder that, you know, you're playing a video game and you're not actually struggling for survival in a eerie Soviet wasteland. But it also means I don't know how much blood I have, and the last couple of run-ins with zombies I did bleed a little bit, and the screen has lost a bit of its colour. It gets increasingly monochrome the more blood you lose, so if I find some food though, I can eat it and get a little bit of blood back. Better still, I could find a blood pack, either on a dead player or in a hospital. Either of those outcomes seems unlikely at the moment, but fingers crossed. Now we spotted some power lines here. Or at least what looks like the towers that hold power lines in place. So we're going to follow them because they might lead us to a settlement, and we are still heading north. We think would be good to have a compass. Just got stuck behind a bush there. Again, the hangover is really taking its toll on Olev's basic motor functions. So we push on, following these power cables. Hopefully, they will lead us somewhere, lead us to civilization, and hopefully not to our doom.